Great to have you here. I'm really happy that you're watching this because if you're one of our tutors. You're working with us in the tutoring program where we provide peer support to participants of our trainings. In this video, I would like to briefly outline the purpose of the program, what is in it for you, what's in it for us, and also to tell you what we require from you and also what we provide to you to be tutoring your colleagues. So you might ask, why do we need a tutoring program? Flagship learning programs have long self-study phases where tutors are providing feedback to written assignments and also interact with our learners in various forms. Why do we do this? Why not just let people go through e-learnings and documents? The fact is that formal learning only accounts for a tiny bit of what we actually learn. Have you heard about the 70-20-10 learning model? This model shows us the various ways we actually learn things. Studies show that formal learning only accounts for a tiny bit, 10% of what we actually learn. If we are interacting with someone, that accounts to 20% of what we learn. If we work on an assignment which is reviewed by someone and then we receive that feedback, so any kind of social interaction is much more effective, and 70% of our knowledge comes from on-the-job training, on-the-job learning. So the way we do things on a day-to-day basis is the most effective way for our learners to have a tutor assigned to them. We are already in the 20%, the social type of learning. Tutors in touch with the learners are in discussion back and forth between a learner and the tutor. We'll also sort of step into the 70% of the model because it quite often happens that learners will actually ask you for a concrete advice on a work-related issue. So this really becomes an on-the-job coaching experience for them. Having said that, we really believe that it is much more valuable to have colleagues like you doing the tutoring work. So the comments actually come from people sitting in field operations like you are. That is why this setup is so valuable, because we can really bring in a practical, up-to-date, real-life element to our trainings. So you might ask, what do you take away from all this? You get to extend your professional network here, different operational realities. So if you're coming from Africa, if you're working in Africa right now, I will most likely give you a learner from Asia, maybe, and another one from the Middle East. And also, this is a learning opportunity. If you work with us and take your learners to the end of the trainings, we will mark the tutoring program on your fact sheet. So this is a credit that you will hopefully benefit from in the future. So about the requirements, there are 3 assignments for every single learner. 3 assignments, 2 learners maximum. I'm saying maximum because if you tell me that specifically, I can give you just 1 learner. That's easier than 2 learners. But if possible, I would like you to cover 2 learners because we don't have that much tutors, honestly. And as I said, 150 learners a year. We need to have at least 60-70 people within the network actively tutoring learners. Okay. About the feedbacks, as you will see, the written assignments are 3-4 page documents where learners provide inputs on various issues. We definitely look for quality feedbacks. We don't necessarily look for long feedbacks, but we look for straight to the point quality stuff which address the learner's work. Quality is one thing. You need to be supportive of your learner. You need to recognize the efforts and make positive comments. It's not really a teacher attitude that we are looking for. We need people who are ready to support individuals through a learning experience, perhaps more touching upon rooms for improvement. I will share a lot of stuff on this later on, tutoring methodologies and good examples, bad examples. You will see. The point is that we need quality work in a manner that is supporting a development process for your learners. I also need to highlight timeliness, which is really, really important. When you're submitting an assignment, you're in that momentum. It's all in your head. You're expecting a feedback on that work soon. Soon meaning in a matter of, let's say, a week or maximum 10 days. If you receive a feedback on your assignments later than that, it really loses the impact. It is also very important that if you know you're going to face delays in commenting on the tutor's work, you need to let the learner know. That's very important, and possibly in advance. When you receive an initial version of an assignment, to review that, it would take you probably about an hour, 1.5 hours initially. That's the first analysis when you go through the learner's work in detail. Then you formulate your feedback. That could take another hour, half an hour. So the initial work for a single assignment, about 2 hours. Then you send that back to the learner, most likely for some kind of revision. Then you get the revised work back from the learner. To review the second or third version of an assignment only takes about a half hour, not more than that. You're only looking at whether the learner did the additional required work. To review the 3 assignments for one learner, that takes about 10 hours, okay? You have 2 learners, that's 20 hours. And then you can count about 5 more hours for any kind of support activity. This includes communication with us and your learner. So about 25 hours of your time. On top of these things, we would also expect you to push the learner, to motivate the learner to manage the deadlines and to submit the assignments timely. Okay. Practice shows that it works much better if you remind the learners, because you're already engaged in a personal setting. If you drop a message to the learner, it is more welcome than us sending a kind of an official reminder. I will tell you where you can find the progress of your learner. We have the proper interface for that. Obviously, after a while, we step in and we try to see what's the issue. If your learner is not submitting an assignment for a month or so, we might even need to replace the learner with someone else if there's no progress at all. So what do we give you for all this? There are detailed scoring documents for every single assignment that I will share with you. These are kind of templates that include the required answers that the learners should provide, and also template comments that you can use as a starting point. We have that for every assignment. I will share that with you. I also share previous cohort sample reviews with you. That's also very useful. You might want to see what other tutors do, how they write their feedback. This is a really good source of inspiration. We also provide you a channel for communication, to communicate with us and also to communicate with your fellow tutors. This is really useful. It's kind of a community of practice where you can exchange ideas with your fellow tutors and ask a question in this group if you have, because you might get an answer sooner from your fellow tutors who are maybe facing the same kind of problem that you are facing. And this will also be a space for you to engage into any kind of discussion with fellow tutors who are also coming from a variety of operations and experiences. We can organize webinars. Takes a bit more time because we need to be in front of our machines at the same time, all of us, but definitely it's an option. And also you can book a one-on-one appointment with me through Skype, where I'm ready to show you anything that you're stuck with. You don't need to do any kind of administration. You only need to operate our assignment-based platform, which is where you're actually grading your learners. That's where you set a status for each assignment and eventually allow your learners to pass. I will link a separate video on that. It's a very easy interface. You will not find any trouble using it. And that's it. No further administration from your side. We all cover that for you. Thanks a lot for watching this. I really hope you will enjoy this experience. And I really hope that you will stay with us for the long term, because every year we need tutors. Every year we launch program management trainings with a lot of learners who all need a tutor. So I really hope that this is really a starting point for our cooperation, and that you will stay with us with the GLDC for the long term. Thanks a lot and have fun.